Inviting him to a family Thanksgiving can really cook your bird for any future and forever holiday or holidays together. If he doesn't ask you to join him and his family for Thanksgiving, you can't offer yours.
Sick of sacrificing or settling in your romantic life? Welcome to Make Him Wonder with Coach Paula Grooms, where women struggling in real relationships ask the expert. Unscripted, unfiltered, understandable coaching conversations to help passionate women succeed in love.
Hi there, and welcome to Make Him Wonder. I'm your host, Coach Paula, a dating and relationship coach, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. Today we are going to talk turkey. Yes, a bit of Thanksgiving, and why, if you are hoping that by next year you'll be giving thanks because you are engaged to the man you love, we are going to discuss why it is that unless he has made a decision to make you the one and formally made that announcement to the world, so to speak, in the form of a proposal, an engagement, a promise ring, that inviting him to a family Thanksgiving can really cook your bird for any future and forever holiday or holidays together. Yes, I'm going to explain why that is. Why putting any man, no matter how long you've been seeing each other, I'm going to say that again. No matter how long you've been seeing each other, putting any man in the quote-unquote family way before he's made a formal commitment to you is not at all a good recipe for him coming to the table for the long term. You might be asking why that is. I'm glad you asked. Because, again, talking turkey. You see, as a woman, you like to connect those you love and care for to others you love and care for. Makes sense. That's what we do, right? You hear me talk all the time about the 3 C's of women. We are all about cooperation, connection, and caretaking. So naturally, you look at the holidays as a time for you and your beau and your family to come together to commune for this wonderful holiday. Here's the problem. If he hasn't already made the decision that he is ready to take you on as the responsibility he sees commitment as being, having him at your family Thanksgiving, it just leaves him questioning at best, and at worst, making him feel that he doesn't want to commit. And why is that? You see, a man lives by his decisions. We live via our feelings. And he has to make a formal decision that you are the one, and any little thing that can push him one way or the other will do so, usually in favor of him not committing, because that is the natural human condition for males, to be free, to use a biblical term, spread their seed, right? So you might be thinking, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt if it's just going to be an off-the-cuff kind of thing. Like a few days before Thanksgiving, hey, what are you doing? Oh, my goodness, you don't have any place to go, or you're just going to friends. Why don't you join us? Mom said you can join us for dinner. No big deal, The problem is, it's a big deal for him in a number of ways. Odds are that he's going to feel pressured. And not just pressured to go, but conflicted about not accepting the invitation. Because he might really care for you and be thinking about something possibly, but he's not ready. He's not ready to meet the parents, as we've all, heard about. It's bandied about. Meet the parents is such a big deal, right? We think about the iconic Meet the Parents on Sex and the City. So many things in our lexicon is about the pressure of meeting a potential mate's or just date's parents. It's really huge. And going to something like a family get-together that is so big, like Thanksgiving, puts all the more importance on it and ergo pressure. So it won't feel good to him to have to accept or decline your invite. You have to play it safe. If he doesn't ask you to join him and his family for Thanksgiving, you can't offer yours. No matter how off the cuff it feels, how last minute, oh my gosh, he doesn't have any plans, you just can't, because it can backfire. And not asking will, guess what, have him wondering. You see, unless a man has made his intentions known with a proposal, depending on the man and the length of time you've been together, the more he may feel obligated to go, because he cares for you, of course, and he cares a great deal about pleasing you. But above all, he's a man. While he wants to avoid conflict, it's not going to bode well for you if he does go and feels any conflict in your family or conflicting feelings when he is there in the presence of your family. Even the asking, regardless of your good intentions, is a bit damaging because it infers something to him that you asked. Here's why. If he asks you to come to his family Thanksgiving, that means a lot to him. He's not going to just toss it off the cuff and ask you, because for any man over a certain age, it really means something significant for him to bring a woman home for Thanksgiving. Give thanks that you're listening to this, right? Because making him wonder why an offer from you wasn't forthcoming is really great. It makes him wonder. It's better to let his curiosity run away with him. Also, you want to be free this Thanksgiving weekend if he has not made a formal commitment to you. You will make points by not asking, but most importantly, you will make points by being away from him for the holiday weekend. He's going to wonder, where are you trotting off to after the turkey is put away? Thanksgiving weekend, after the big day, it's a fun weekend. People go home for homecoming. So what handsome former college or high school guy might you be cozying up to around the screen for football or even at a game, right? We want to make him think about that possibility. Remember, things aren't any different just because the calendar marks a special time of your holiday. Men don't measure their relationships by special days like women do. Or again, what we always talk about in terms of time. They do not. Being together for 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, it's really of no significance in terms of a man making his decision to be ready to commit. Time means nothing about his readiness, willingness, ability, or desire to commit. So we're going to talk about in a moment what you do if formally you have included him in Thanksgiving or holiday plans, and what you do this year to make a change.
Want more information on anything you've heard discussed here today? Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One is available at all major book retailers. Or grab an autographed copy of Coach Paula's groundbreaking bestseller at whywon'thecommit.com.
If your boyfriend has typically come with you for previous Thanksgivings and you're no farther along in him committing, meaning you're not engaged this Thanksgiving and you want to be, you know you do, you have to be working towards that end. In other words, there's nothing that doesn't have any meaning in it. It does have meaning. There's no just simple Thanksgiving that doesn't have special import in terms of moving your relationship forward or actually slipping backwards. If you have invited him in the past, you have to change things up. Because if you don't change things up this Thanksgiving, next Thanksgiving will be the same. In other words, if we don't change things, things tend to stay the same for the man. He's satiated. He feels great. No drama, no chaos, no change, right? So, if he hasn't committed formally and you've spent over a year and a half, 2 years with him, you need to work towards moving things forward. It really is just the case. I remember an older man I met. I actually did an interview on his show. And he said, it's really 3 things with a relationship. Either you get married, you break up, or one of you dies. And it was like, okay, from a male mind, bottom lining it. But it's kind of true. In other words, things do change. However long we are with someone, they change if we are not formally committed. And sometimes even when we are formally committed, they change, right, in terms of divorce or what have you. But we don't go into anything planning on that, right? And certainly a man does not, because he values his decisions and he lives by his decisions. So this year, if you need to make a change and you want to move him forward, what do we immediately think of? Making him wonder. And we do that in simple ways that are subtle and vague. If he hasn't committed, again, by a year, year and a half, 2 years, you are likely with a consumer. And you will need to do more than simply skip this Thanksgiving for any change or forward movement to take place. But it certainly is time to shake things up. And let's take advantage of this time of a holiday and him being jolted awake like, oh my gosh, by telling your guy your holiday plans this year are, quote, just family, and that you'll be going alone. This is profound to drive the point home that things are not wrapped up in a neat little nice leftover bag with a bow on it. So while away from each other this Thanksgiving weekend, he is going to be wondering. He may also be missing you. But the wonder of what you're doing when you're not texting back very much at all. Just short, to the point, no questions texts. I work with this in my programs so much because so much of our relationships these days is via text. It's seriously important to get the strategies connected to texting and what works best with men to keep them wondering and longing, which is the way they love. So Thanksgiving weekend, you're going to make him wonder, like we said, about what game you might be going to and getting all cozy with the hot chocolate or the hot toddy with guys that you knew from your past. It's really significant because the 3 C's of men, they are all about competition, challenge, and then conquering. So let him miss you. And guess who you might be thankful to be meeting this year, because that guy might be interested in committing. Stay as far from your cell as you can. You text less. You talk very infrequently, if at all, and you make him wonder. While waiting for the turkey to cook this weekend, take the consumer versus buyer relationship test again. Utilize this time away from him to be making him wonder, but also to be scaling him on his readiness, willingness, and ability to commit, whether you are dating or whether you've been together for a decade. Again, time in means nothing about his readiness, willingness, or ability to commit because he doesn't commit via love alone. In other words, if you've been together for a decade, he absolutely loves you, most likely. Doesn't mean he's willing to commit. If you need more on that, gotta read my book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. Most people here have likely read it, but if you're hearing me for the first time, you may not know the book. So you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any major book retailer. Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. Immediately read from chapter 3, and you will understand from a female point of view how you can love completely but not commit. Seriously important. So I hope this is helpful today, really short and sweet and to the point. But I don't want you to be a turkey. And he needs to know that you're not. He needs to know that you are someone who gets it and is a worthy opponent. If you listen to other podcasts, you are going to hear me talk about the worthy opponent strategies that work like a charm to have him viewing you as someone ultimately so worthy of his time, attention, and affection. Yeah, we're going to really get into the psychology of a man and what makes him most interested in you. And a lot of that, of course, we know, is pursuit of your time, attention, and affection. And in my programs, I work with these subtle strategies that are not game playing. They are keeping you of high value. So he comes to the table very soon. We want this before next Thanksgiving. and wants to lock you down for forever life with you. I know of a guy who just did that recently. He's a wonderful man, Taz the Tailor. TazTheTailor.com. If you are planning on any kind of party, wedding, special event, the one-of-a-kind bow ties from TazTheTailor.com are so special because they are one-of-a-kind, really pieces of art that men can wear as bow ties. They're really wonderful. And my fiance is going to be wearing one for our wedding day, which is coming up right before Thanksgiving. Yes. So I want you to look at TazTheTailor.com. There are also, besides the bow ties, really cool shirts and shorts that are unisex. I love them. They're just so cool. So he is a wonderful man. I know he's engaged now. Congrats, Taz. If you use code Forever10 when checking out, you get a discount on your order, your entire order. So I really suggest you go there and check it out. Speaking of his engagement, my engagement and wedding, I'm doing a destination wedding, as you know. And I'm very excited to be going in a week or two. And I was fortunate enough to work with Cookie Randall, a destination wedding planner. If you are thinking about a romantic vacation, anniversary, certainly wedding, honeymoon, or re-tie the knot ceremony, go to travelbycookie@gmail.com and email her. Just hear what she has to say because it's so fascinating. Listen to my podcast with her if you are at all interested in helping anyone plan a destination wedding, honeymoon, romantic vacation, anniversary, or re-tie the knot syndrome. Re-tie the knot ceremony. She's so helpful and full of information. So on podcast number 35, you will hear Cookie and I talk all about destination weddings, honeymoons, anniversaries, re-tie the knot ceremonies. It's very cool because I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know firsthand, and we'll be talking more about that as time goes on, because in a few days I will be headed to my destination wedding. So again, go to willhecommit.com. Take the consumer versus buyer relationship test to see where your man falls on the scale of being ready, willing, and able to commit. But you will not go wrong, ever, no matter where he is on the scale, by skipping the invite this Thanksgiving. If you skip it, you can keep him smitten. You'll be very thankful you did. I'm very glad that you listened today so that you understand why it's so important that you don't show your hand in this subtle game of cards, that regardless of you feeling that you are in this game, because you are connected to him, you are relating to him, you are all in this because you are committed via love alone. He's not. And he knows that this is a push-pull of sorts. He's in a very different place. He's male. Night and day, sun and rain, black and white, stop or go, on or off, yes or no, committed or not, is his brain. And we can help his brain rework itself into wanting you in a way that's locking it down and committing by a simple act of, you are not all in my life. If he loves you, he wants that. The ironic thing is that if you give it to him without the commitment, you likely will not get it. We want him to get it because he is best as a man, having made a decision and formally committed, because a man lives by his decisions. So, good decision for you to listen today prior to asking him for the holidays. Don't forget, if you have a man in your life, you have to make him wonder.
Thank you for listening to Make Him Wonder. If you've benefited from today's conversation, please subscribe and share. Connect with Coach Paula at makehimwonder.com. There you can take several relationship evaluations, discover her books and other resources, and find out if one of her personalized coaching programs might be right for you. Are you ready to move forward with a man who's dragging his heels? If you're ready to be completely committed and experience what it's like to have your man coming to you to make things exclusive and move towards a formal commitment, connect with Coach Paula on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or by simply taking one of our free relationship evaluations at willhecommit.com.